Hey there guys, it's ID Slat back again with another video, and today we're taking a look at the Mega Construx Halo Falcon Sweep set. So this is a 2022 release, part of the Halo Universe line for Mega Construx. So let's get straight into it, starting with the builds. Up first for the builds, we have a very simple terrain piece with some sandbags and a fusion coil. It's not really too much. It's always nice to get sandbags and a fusion coil though. You can pose like one or two figures on here. It's probably best if you just pose like two. You do build that fusion coil. It's a fairly simple build. But I like to get it, and I also like this color of this terrain piece. It definitely looks like a terrain that you would see in Halo Reach. So yeah, overall, this is a nice little build. Here's a quick look at technically the third build, just a crate here with some UNSC printing on it, and whatever this number is here, I'm not really sure what that is, or I guess code. Printing on this thing is very fine, and of course you can put plenty of weapons in here, and it does come with 2 frag grenades in this dark gray color as well. They're very good if you want to put the extra weapons in here while you have the figures in the Falcon, and I'm glad that they gave us one of these crates. It really adds to the value of this set. So now we have the Falcon. This is a great build. I think this is the first Falcon we've gotten since probably like 2013, something like that. So this is kind of a big deal. And I think this is a great build. Has some printed pieces, a lot of printed pieces on this thing, which I think is good as always. I think it looks great. It's in this very nice dark kind of green color. It's almost like a forest green, kind of like a washed out forest green. I think it looks great. So this turret does fully rotate, and it does go up and down too, which is awesome. And the cockpit does of course open to where you can seat a figure, and let me show you what that looks like. But first, let me show you the console piece. So here's the console piece here. It's a fairly simple piece. It just has some kind of some green printing, and I think it looks great. I love when they print the console pieces. Not really anything too crazy, but it's always good to get the console pieces. Here's a look at Noble 6 in the pilot seat here. I think it looks pretty good. I will note that it's very hard to get the cockpit to fully close with his shoulder pads on. So if you take those off, they can fit. But other than that though, it doesn't really fit with his shoulder pads. And he has like the smallest shoulder pads of all of the members of Noble 6. So I think regardless of who you put in here, maybe besides Cat, you're probably gonna have to take off the shoulder pads. It's not a big deal, but just something to point out. Here's the side view of the Falcon in all of its glory. It looks great. It's got plenty of printed pieces with a UNSC here. We have that yellow arrow thingy. I'm not really sure what that is, but it looks cool. And then we have a 23 on there. I'm also not sure what that means, but I'm sure it means something. And then the propeller engine does have printing. Let me put that up a little bit. The propeller engine does have printing. It says WASP, Danger, and Jet, which I think was a nice touch. I love when they give us these printed pieces. And of course, if you want to, you can take these propellers off. I'm not sure if this was a feature in the other Falcons, but you can do that, and that will let you easily sit the figures on the turret here, which is great. This turret is also has a lot of articulation. It goes up and down and side to side, just like the real turret in game, which is awesome. So let me go ahead and sit a figure in there and show you guys what that looks like. So there's what it looks like with them seated. Doesn't look too bad. I don't actually have Carter fully sat down. It's just kind of it's really hard to put him in there, but you can sit all of Noble Team in here. Or you can have 2 of them on the turrets on each side, and then 3 of them actually in the the Falcon, which is cool. So yeah, all of Noble Team does fit in here. It's just kind of a pain to get them all in there. But I think this is the first time it can fit that many figures, 6 figures, which is definitely great. So great job doing that, Mega. Here is the rear view of the Falcon. It looks great. We can see our propellers that can spin, and you can also tilt those back as well, which looks great, forward and back. And yeah, it looks great. We have the, I think asymmetrical placing of the lights. One is red and one is green. It looks really good. I like the rear view of this thing. Here's the other side. It is pretty much exactly the same except the lights are green. Other than that though, it's basically the same as the other side I showed you before. And there's Cat on the turret. You can have them grab it, but Cat's robot arm makes it kind of hard for her to actually hold on to the turret, but you can do it. It's just kind of difficult. So here's a view of the Falcon from above. I think it looks great. This lets you see the printed pieces here, and we can also take a look at the tail pieces. Those are 2 printed pieces there, which look great. I think this looks great from above, which is obviously where most people are going to be seeing it from. Gives you a better view of these specialized jet pieces we have. I think this thing just looks great. I honestly think Mega knocked it out of the park. Starting with the figures, we have Noble Leader himself, Carter. This is a great figure. He's got his helmet attachment painted on actually in that red. He even has white printed on his leg and even on his shoulders. And then he even has that logo on his chest painted. I'm not really quite sure what that is. But yeah, he looks great. He even comes with a painted DMR, which I didn't even notice until I actually got this set in. But yeah, all of these figures have painted weapons. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. This is my second Carter figure, and I can actually show you guys the 20th anniversary version of Carter. Here's just a quick comparison. Almost exactly the same. You can just see though the 20th anniversary version does not have that printing on his chest. Other than that though, the color on like his helmet, the black is different. Like that's kind of a matte gray, and that is like a shiny black. Other than that though, they're almost the same figure. But this version definitely has it on the 20th anniversary, just by a little bit. So overall, I think this is a 10 out of 10 figure and a great way to start off Noble Team. Next up for Noble Team, we have Cat Noble 2 with her iconic robot arm. She is a fantastic figure. Look at that. She's got the hazard sign kind of thing painted on her back. I don't think we've ever seen that before. They knocked her color out of the park as well. She even has her magnum painted, just a little white stripe, but I appreciate that. Any paint application is always appreciated. She has paints all over her chest, and if I tilt her head down, you can actually see she even has white painted on her helmet. Great figure. She also has more paint applications on her legs, like those 2 little red paint applications, and the stripe painted on as well. Fantastic figure. I will note with her, as always with the robot arms, you cannot fully articulate it. Not really a big deal for her because she has a magnum, but for figures with other weapons, it's kind of a pain. But yeah, I'm glad they gave her the articulated arm. All right, next up we have Jun, the sniper himself, looking fantastic. He's got paint applications on his shoulders for that knife and the blue. He even has paint applications for his ghillie suit as well. They did his color just about perfect. And then he has his wrist attached, his TACCOM kind of thing there, painted on as well in gold, and even has the bullets. Look at how fine the paint applications are on the bullets. You can see there's a little bit of blue smeared, but I'm not gonna complain about it because it's very minimal. He looks great, and he also does have the painted sniper rifle in black and this dark gray. I think it just looks great. And if I tilt his head down a little bit, let me keep him on the stand here. If you tilt his head down a little bit, you can see he has paint applications on his head as well. So yeah, Jun, another 10 out of 10 figure. You're gonna be hearing me say that a lot with this set. Fantastic. I just can't believe how much detail this guy has. Now we have Emile, probably just about everyone's favorite member of Noble Team. Even if he's not your favorite, I think we can all agree he's probably the coolest. And they did not skimp on the details for this guy either. They finally got the colors right for him, so he does come in dark gray, which is accurate to the game. He has red paint on his legs on the stripe there. Let me pull it up his shotgun. You can see there the red is painted on. He has red on his wrist, and even his shoulders are painted. He does have the painted tactical shotgun. So many details on this guy. His chest looks great with his bullets painted on there. And they did get his shoulder painted on. And I will note too, his knife is also painted. You can see it's like a dark gray and the silver is painted on. His helmet looks good too. I really like it. I think it looks great. And if I tilt his head down though, you'll see I have a little bit of gold smeared on his head. Not a huge deal, because again, it's not noticeable, but as always, I do not like quality control issues, but I will forgive it. So let's give you guys a quick comparison, starting with the 20th anniversary pack, Emile. You can see very similar. I think the only thing that the 20th anniversary version does better is the his visor. That color there, I think, is a bit closer to what we see in game. It's kind of more of a bronze than actual gold. Other than that, though, the red is much, much brighter on the 20th anniversary version. I think the kind of burgundy color they have on this version here is definitely more accurate. Other than that, though, they're very similar. This one does not have the red stripe on his leg, but other than that, they're very, very similar figures. And I do have the original version, but I am not sure where he is right now. But yeah, that is Emile there. Let's move on to the next member of Noble Team. So now we have Noble 5, aka George, the friendly giant. This guy is amazing. I think they did a great job on him, honestly. He has the wrist painted in silver. I'm not sure if that's the first time they did that, but it looks great. And his EVA shoulder pad is also painted. He even has the painted weapon with just a little yellow stripe, but I appreciate that. I think even when they just do a little bit of painting, I think it goes a long way for the weapons. His shoulder looks great as well. One thing I will note with him, his shoulder, his torso, his backpack actually would not fit on, so I had to replace it. Not a big deal because I have a lot of figures, but still, we do not like to see quality control issues as always. Other than that, though, he just looks great. If I raise his arms, which is kind of hard to do with his big shoulders, you can see that he has gray on his legs as well. So a very, 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 very detailed figure. Absolutely amazing figure. Let me bring out the OG version of George back from, I think, 2014. Sorry, his leg is like falling off. There's the OG George. Absolutely knocks this guy out of the park. the new one's just way better. I mean, it's not even close. I think at the time this version of George was not bad, but now it's just kind of like, yeah, like it's just night and day. So yeah, really not much of a comparison, but I just wanted to bring him out to show you guys how far Mega's come. But yeah, that is George, another 10 out of 10 figure besides the quality control issue. Last and certainly but not least, we have Noble 6, the player character, aka you, the person that played the game. He looks great. Obviously, our Noble 6s really didn't look like this, but for the lore version of Noble 6, I think he looks great. He has his legs, he has like the lights painted on, which looks great. He even has a little bit of lights painted on his chest as well, which looks awesome. And he even has that same red hazard on his back, and the back of his head is also painted, which looks great. And he has the painted assault rifle with just that little white stripe, but again, it looks good. His visor looks great too. They gave him a border, which I love when they give these guys the borders. I think it looks great. Absolutely phenomenal figure. And he does have the Mark 5B shoulder pads, which is interesting because I think that's the first time they've actually given Noble 6 the Mark 5B shoulder pads. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So yeah, great figure. Another 10 out of 10. Let me bring you guys the OG version of him as well. That is the OG Noble 6. Still a good figure to this day, just not as detailed. He came with the default shoulder pads. I just took them off and I don't know where they went. But yeah, he's definitely a much darker color. But I think the newer version is definitely better for sure. So yeah, yet another 10 out of 10 figure for Mega. Not a surprise at all. So guys, that's the set here. Absolutely phenomenal set. I think Mega probably couldn't have done any better. For a retail price of $80 too, I think this thing is just unmatched. I would have been willing to pay more than that for this thing. As of right now, it's very hard to find for retail. You can find it for like $140 on Amazon, which honestly is way above retail, but it's not a bad price. So yeah, that's the set here. Honestly, I would give it a 10 out of 10. Absolute banger. I think just them having all of Noble Team with painted weapons, basically Halo Hero versions of them too, was just, I would have never predicted them to do something like this. This is an absolute dream set. So yeah, I'm very, very glad I have this set. Definitely get it if you guys can. Feel free to let me know what you think about it in the comments as well. But yeah, that's the review here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like the video if you didn't. Feel free to like the video if you liked it. Feel free to dislike the video if you did not like it. And maybe if you'd want to see more content like this, you can go ahead and subscribe. And as always, I would like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. And I will catch you guys in the next one.